Draft season is always a crazy time because, well, it's a time to start speculating what our team, the Minnesota Vikings, are going to do in this year's draft. Now, just a couple days ago or a week ago, we ended up trading with the Houston Texans to move up out of the second round into the first round, where we now have two first-round picks. We have the 11th overall pick, where we got because we weren't that great this season, and we also earned that 23 overall pick that we got from the Houston Texans in that trade to basically go up into the first round. And there's been a lot of speculation of what the Vikings might do. A lot of the talk has been about the Vikings potentially bundling those first two-round picks to move up in the draft and select a quarterback of the future. But what if I told you there's a chance to keep both of those first-round picks, still take the quarterback of the future, and add some help defensively in the secondary? Well, that's exactly what Mel Kiper has in his mock draft 3.0, which he just released not too long ago, and I really like what he has for the Minnesota Vikings. So we're not going to talk about the first pick, but I will say at number 11, he had the Minnesota Vikings staying there and selecting quarterback out of Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. That's the quarterback of the future. So what happens at 23? Well, Mel Kiper says, at number 23, Kiper has the Vikings taking former Iowa cornerback Cooper DeJean, who some project as an NFL safety instead of a corner. Kiper's projection was posted before the Vikings announced that they have agreed to terms with veteran cornerback Shaq Griffin. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? That addition right there at corner with Shaq Griffin could mean the Vikings aren't in play for a corner, but still, this is a real possibility. On DeJean, Mel Kiper wrote the following. We're back around to the Vikings, who acquired this pick in a deal with the Texans last week. I gave them a Kirk Cousins replacement at number 11 with J.J. McCarthy, and if they're keeping this selection, they have to address a secondary that ranked 28th in passing yards allowed to receivers with 3,019 yards last season. I like the front seven additions of Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel, but Minnesota hasn't made moves at cornerback. Well, we actually did. This was before we signed Shaq Griffin. He said, I'm a huge fan of DeJean, who is still recovering from a broken leg suffered in November. He's a ball hawk. He had 7 interceptions over his final 23 college games with excellent technique. He also isn't afraid of sticking his head in and making a tackle, okay? He's what you want out of a football player, okay? He's not afraid to make a tackle. He ain't afraid to go get the ball. He's going to make some plays. He's going to be electrifying, but you never know. He could end up getting beat sometimes. But from what I've heard, this guy is fantastic on the football field. And Kiper highlighted DeJean's versatility when asked about him on Wednesday's call. He said, he can play in any defensive structure, which is what I like about him at corner. I think he can move inside. He's a guy that's very athletic, very tough, a good tackler. He's got punt return ability. Cooper would have been a top 15 guy had he finished the process healthy. I think the dual versatility helps. Being able to play in any defensive structure helps him. So basically what he's saying is, look, if Cooper DeJean doesn't break his leg, doesn't have that injury, he's a top 15 selection, no doubt about it. And that's exactly what I was seeing early on in the process before the scouting combine and before even the college football playoffs took place, was that Cooper DeJean is the best corner in college football, and teams are going to be chomping at the bit to get him. That narrative has quickly shifted to Toledo cornerback Quinion Mitchell, who is said to be the best corner in this year's draft. And I know there's Kool-Aid McKinstry and those other guys, Tyrion Arnold and stuff like that, but Cooper DeJean was supposed to be the cream of the crop, right? And he was supposed to be the guy. And because of the injury, it kind of dropped his draft stock just a little bit, but he's still going to be a very good corner. That's the hope anyways, right? So he also went on and talked about Cooper DeJean a little bit more. He said, not being able to work out, obviously, that's something people like to see during this process. The combine, the pro days. That's what we want to see. That's why I think when you see a Quinion Mitchell from Toledo at the Senior Bowl, the combine, the years he had the last couple of years at Toledo, how good he was, the field keeps him at number 1. Tyrion Arnold at Alabama is probably 2 at corner. DeJean, in his opinion, and Mel Kiper's opinion, even though Wiggins ran that 4.28 in the 40-yard dash, I would still put Cooper DeJean at number 3, maybe put him at the 4th corner, okay? You put DeJean at safety, he's the number 1 safety. So to me, he's a first rounder. Where in the first round? At first, he had him at the Rams in his mock draft 2.0 and put him down a little bit in 3.0. Can't remember what pick the Rams have off the top of my head. I want to say like 20 or somewhere around there. I do believe. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's right there, right? Now, I think he can go anywhere between the middle of the first and in that Rams area at 19. So the Rams have pick 19. I think that's what he's saying. Now, I think the latest would be Green Bay at 25, which is what I've seen a lot of. I've seen Cooper DeJean slated to go to the Green Bay Packers at 25, but I feel like Green Bay could go two ways. Cooper DeJean or Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota. They want a safety. They want a guy who's, going to help that back end a little bit and help take off those big plays. But Minnesota also needs help in the back end, right? Now, I'm not saying we need a safety because we really don't. We have Josh Metellus, Cam Bynum, Harrison Smith, who just restructured his deal, right? So, or hopefully going to restructure his deal, or is staying. But anyways, you get it. But still, Cooper DeJean can play corner or even the nickel, right? And come down and play all that stuff and make an immediate impact. And we've had trouble drafting corners, but we do need defensive back help a little bit. I would like this pick. I've said multiple times, look, I don't think it's in the best interest for the Vikings to bundle those first 2 round picks, bundle those first 2 first-round picks to move up to take a quarterback, because then you don't have another draft pick till round 4. Okay, that would put us out of the mix of a lot of defensive ends, defensive tackles, and corners. That doesn't look good. That wouldn't be good for a draft for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we still could end up making more trades and find a way into that second round again or something like that. I have no idea what's going to happen, but the smartest thing for me, if it were me, yes, I understand there's a possibility that if you stay at 11, somebody jumps you and takes the quarterback that you want, a.k.a., the Denver Broncos, who sit right behind us at number 12. But you can also be like, if that happens, there's still Michael Penix on the board. There's still Bo Nix on the board. And then you can really wait to 23 to take him, so at 11 you go defensive end. So I still think it's a possibility, or it'd be smart to keep those first 2 round picks. At 11, if nobody jumps us and we can take J.J. McCarthy, do it. At 23, take the best available player that you think will help your team the most, right? Defensive end, defensive tackle, corner. Mock draft 3.0 from Mel Kiper. He said the Vikings will take Cooper DeJean at 23. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, what you think of this. Also, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of the night, folks, and Skol Vikes.